It's time to declutter. It's been time to declutter. Dysfunction, stagnancy, and avoidance need to go. I need to vigorously push through to resolve past mess while simultaneously developing new habits to stay on top of the current infinite inevitable entropy and responsibilities while simultaneously curating a better path forward. I would love to have the muck of the past clutter fully resolved, and I have never really gotten there. I'll do parts and make huge progress, but then easily slide back to what it was because it's so hard to take care of the current when your habits are clutter producing and there is always new things to manage every day on top of the clutter that remains from before. Today is a new day. This breath is a miracle. I have another chance. I need to improve my life, my health, and my mental health by cleaning up the mess that feels like an endless, unresolved challenge in my life, yet I know is actually a finite issue with an achievable solution. It's time to actually achieve it. Let's talk about laundry. I have a habit of avoiding the laundry. Sometimes I get into zones where I'm very responsible about it for periods of time, but then I fatigue from trying to keep up with everything perfectly and let it go, and then it gets out of control again. I'm working on a new rule which is basic and obvious yet profound for me, which is that if the laundry hamper is full, it needs to go to the laundry area right away and no putting it off allowed. Same thing in the laundry area. If enough laundry has built up to wash a load, I need to put that laundry in the washer right away. It's a massive convenience to even have machines that do so much of the labor for me. The least I can do is keep up with getting it into the machine on time so I don't have a recurring, overwhelming, unnecessary, dirty laundry clutter situation. And then, when the laundry is clean, I need to promptly fold it and put it away. It cannot be sitting around for days not getting put away. Now, to reduce clothes clutter further, I'm getting rid of things I don't actually even wear or like but haven't gotten around to dealing with because for some silly reason the actually quite simple task of removing items I never wear feels like a big deal and something I want to avoid. No, instead, dealing with it, sorting them, and getting them out of my house. Then we have the basement. I desperately need function in this space and have yet to provide that to myself really ever. It's one of the easiest out of control areas because it's hidden from company and not as used for my daily life, so it's easy to let it fester on the back burner. It also needs an entire decluttering and reorganizing overhaul, not just a little sprucing up, so it's a lot to face. Also, if I'm going to be working in it for hours, I really should be wearing a mask, and it's going to be dirty work. So even though I can feel how much of a drain it is on my life to have that space full of part junk I need to get rid of and part horrible, sloppy piles in poorly designated areas of items, and even though I desperately need function, it can be very challenging to actually bring the decluttering to completion. Sometimes, just like the laundry, for months at a time, I'll make significant, consistent progress, but then other urgent things take over on the day-to-day, and my bad habits reclutter the progress, and then I feel like it's this never-ending, vomiting dragon that will forever plague me. But I've decided that this again is a finite task with an achievable aim, and I do not need to live with a dungeon of trash beneath my day-to-day. I can actually complete this. There is actually an endpoint to the clutter. I can create function. I can maintain function. What is necessary is to fix the problem and at the same time not be creating more of the same problem. I need to place things in neat and organized ways and not allow myself to simply toss something in a general area because I'm in a hurry or whatever, because that quickly reverses the positive change and makes it impossible for me to reach completion with a basic need for functional storage and accessibility rather than disturbing dysfunctional chaos that wastes my energy and my time. Outdoors cluttered too. Out here I have fire-making stuff and outdoor cooking stuff, but nothing's well arranged, and so it all just becomes useless, stale, trashy landmarks that have a really depleting, uninspiring, stagnant energy. No matter how much I've tried to change, I have this experience where I want and need my environment that I have control over to be clear and functional and pleasant, but it often ends up back at smothering me and feeling tolerably awful. I make systems for organization, but then they become this other melting pot of displeasing junk layout as if it all has to return to that dysfunctional state. It takes constant attention and discipline and self-transformation and self-empowerment to make it something different. And I've struggled for a long time between trying to make it better and not fully being able to achieve it in a sustainable fashion. But when you really look at it, it's not just one thing and then another thing. It's a whole lifestyle pattern that needs to shift. Even cleaning up one area, it's not enough. It will make it feel good temporarily, but if the underlying patterns are not transformed, the space will simply return to that unhappy state. So there is a combination needed of tenaciously clearing and resolving old clutter steadily to the point of completion, while at the exact same moment living in a new way of being able to connect with and relate to sustainable function, so that you're not just overlaying new clutter as you try to clean up old clutter. And of course, the kitchen. The kitchen for me is a world where a tornado of random placement of items and environmental chaos spirals out from me as I desperately try to keep that tornado, which is myself, from overwhelming the space into a disaster zone where everything becomes unbearably confusing, cluttered, and claustrophobic. Unless I truly have the bandwidth to slow it down to a meditative experience, then I can have a more artful time of it all. But my norm is that I have to hype myself up in order to be able to do any cooking or kitchen projects, because the kitchen feels like a very overwhelming experience to me. At the same time, I'm compelled to create nourishment, and I need to be able to relate to the kitchen in a new way that is not just desperate disaster control. My approach so far to heal this issue is 1, I need to make sure there is clear space to start. The kitchen needs to be clean before I'm working on any new cooking. I need to have put away the dishes, and the dish rack needs to be clear so that there is space for new items that will inevitably become dirty. 2, after I'm done with any project, I need to return the kitchen to its baseline clean state before moving on. And 3, while I'm in the midst of any kitchen project, I need to do things in small, reasonable steps and reset a functional, clean space for the next step in order to avoid a rapidly produced, dysfunctional large mess with an unreasonable amount of chaotically used and chaotically placed items that need to be cleaned or put back. Another organic way to declutter that I'm playing with is choosing a small area to make better here and there connected to other regular chores. So if I'm in the kitchen already and I just finished cleaning the dishes or something, maybe I'll squeeze in a little burst of energy to finally address the sticky accumulated residue built up on top of the fridge and the useless collection of mostly forgotten clutter residing there. Little things like that, even though it feels like everywhere I turn is another problem area, will make a big difference one step at a time. Let's not forget about the clutter of dust bunnies hiding and spawning in every annoying place to clean, making it secretly hard to breathe, but so commonplace that it's somehow normal. One thing I'm learning is that decluttering can happen just by choosing a small stagnant area, and even if I don't know what to do at all to make it better, simply moving everything out of that area and then back naturally causes a decluttering action, because naturally the use and the attention and the movement brings your awareness to what needs to improve, and when you put it all back, it's better and it shines with that new perspective. But it's not just a one-time event. That's where I get caught. Okay, today I'm finally going to vacuum behind there and I'm finally going to make that better. But actually it's about regularity. Regularly, temporarily excavating a small area, naturally cleaning it up because it exposes what it's hiding to you within that process, and then putting everything back. If I'm doing that often in various different little achievable areas, then there is always movement that keeps things fresh. What I've discovered so far is that decluttering is not just about the act of cleaning up a mess. Yes, I have to clean up the mess that is choking and bottlenecking my potential, but there's so much to it beyond that singular act. Decluttering for me, I am finding, is really about internally transforming chaotic and dysfunctional habit energy. If I behave chaotically, if I rush into activities without preparing the right stage for them, if I place physical objects down in a whirlwind chaos of confusing layout that my body and mind have to struggle to cope with, and if I feel chaotic and overwhelmed, that is only going to continue the cycle of clutter. And then I will keep trying to chase my own tail, trying to declutter as I clutter faster than I can keep up with. That is the actual cycle that needs to heal. It's not about a single mess or even a bunch of messes. It's an external representation of my internal state, and it's a way of life. So something inside me is really struggling to embody functionality and sustained, repeatable functional space. It's like functionality feels alien to me, unfamiliar, hard to achieve, easy to lose, and extremely difficult to maintain. I need to continue to support my mind and body with affirmations, mantras, and loving attention that I can experience function, I can create function, I can maintain function, I can achieve clear, clean, functional personal space, and I can go about things in a functional way. I I need to take the time to set a good, clean, sensible work area for whatever I'm doing before I get into it, even though I feel impatient to brush past a good setup, which ultimately makes the way I go about it very spatially upsetting. I need to put things back where they go and keep things clean as the norm, rather than a big event I manage to finally do sometimes and then don't get to again for too long because it's too hard when it builds up like that. I still have so much to clean up. What I've taken care of so far is only a fraction of what's needed, and I definitely have not completely shifted into every new ideal habit I've shared here. I'm still in the habit of avoiding some things and not fully completing the cycle of certain chores before moving on, and often feeling overwhelmed and chaotic. But I do have new insights and new understanding that guides my ability to resolve the messes that are tormenting me. I have taken care of a lot more than I've been able to in the past. I know how to support myself more, and I have learned a better way forward.